What it is, guys, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you with more Dokkan Battle. It is New Year's Eve, and my happy ass is getting ready to go out the door. And I got wind of this. Now, this is pretty hype shit. Team Dokkan, or one of the more predominant French data miners, is telling us that the biggest banner in Dokkan Battle history, in his opinion, will drop tomorrow, along with the new celebration for both Global and JP. And this makes a lot of sense because, as you know, we are running out of stuff. Everything ends pretty much tonight. So, with the exception of the hit banner, but I'm kind of personally done with the hit banner. So, if this is the case, what does this mean? Well, a lot of people are highly speculating, and I'm not sure I'm willing to jump on the bandwagon with them quite yet, but let's talk about this, okay? What could this be? Well, first of all, it is highly likely that something is coming, okay? But before you get too excited, remember, the data miners can only tell us what's in the game files. Akatsuki can change that. They've played 3-card Monty with this stuff before. Remember back in November when they were like, Gogeta and Broly are coming in December, it's going to be a Global and JP event, etc., etc., etc. This could have been that, just pushed back. It's not necessarily the banners, but some events similar to that. And that's where everybody's getting really hyped. Because if you remember, when we finally got the GV jump scans, after all that, they dropped this on us. But also, if you remember back to that, they dropped this little tidbit right here on us. This little thing right over here. Okay, let's see if I can... Oh, nope, camera cuts off. They dropped that on us. If you look really closely at that, it's a TEQ Gogeta Blue. Now, before we get too excited about this, I'm going to go ahead and state my opinions. I think this was a misprint. Okay? It might have been a unit that was in testing. Maybe Gogeta was originally going to be a TEQ unit. They changed him to AGL. It's not that far from the realm of possibility. And I firmly believe, since so many data miners were telling us back in November that it was going to be an event that wasn't JP exclusive, I think it was in the files. We've got wind of stuff that was in the files before that never came to light. Because, again, they test things, things don't work, stuff like that. So, there is always something there. Whether or not it works out is a whole other situation. So, TEQ Gogeta Blue, let's talk about him, okay? If you look at this, the shading and all that looks absolutely correct. But, I wonder if I can't blow it up anymore, because I think it's about as big as this image is going to get. Let me see if I can. No, it won't let me. It won't let me. Let me see if I can just do this a little bit. A very professional situation here, very professional job. Alright, so it's a little bit better. You can see it. We can see it pretty well. Okay, so let's take a look at that, and then let's take a look at what we actually got on JP, which is this right here. This is, and this should look very familiar. I did kind of shamelessly rip this off of Truth's video. Mad shout out to the Truth. I'll put him in the description down below, but for God's sakes, if you don't know him, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. Love the man. Great Dokkan YouTuber, so mad shout out to him, though I did just yoink this from his video, because I don't have him on JP. So, compare the two. The sprites are almost identical, and you can kind of tell this has got some, like, he looks a little chunkier and chubbier. This has aspect ratio issues. If I squash this down, like, if I just went kind of, oh, no, it's going to maintain aspect ratio. But if I ruin the aspect ratio on this, he'd look just like that. The only difference being, this has a little bit more shading to it. Now, unfortunately, my rip, I just realized, doesn't have the face on there. The face on the version we got is a lot brighter, but it's literally the identical face. All they've done is they've changed the shading on this one. This one's got more shadows and a little bit darker, where the one we have has shadows on the opposite side. They basically changed which side the light is emanating from. Okay? Legitimately, if you look at the picture of Gogeta down here on this version, the light is coming from this side of his face, where the other one, the shadows are coming from this side of the face. If you go over there and look at that one. Is that enough to convince me that this unit is an LR? I don't think so. I would be a little unhappy. So the only difference is, as I'm really sitting here and analyzing this, the only real difference between these two sprites, his sash, the sash right here, is a little bit longer and a little bit further back, and this one has a little bit more line drawing and detail on the pants. If you really pay attention to these two, the pants on this one are a bit different, but the hair, identical, just shaded a little bit differently. The vest, identical, shaded a little bit differently. The muscles are just slightly more defined. I mean, it could be an LR. It could be a TEQ LR that they teased a while back that we're getting. But I really kind of... So another LR that we've had teased in the files is one that I've said I wanted. And that is Kale and Caulifla that transform into Kefla. Apparently that is testing. Whether or not that's coming is a whole other ballgame. So we just flat don't know. I'm not 100% convinced, because I would really hope that if Akatsuki was going to drop an LR Gogeta Blue on us, they would do that more closer to when we're getting the actual event ourselves. Okay? Now, they could drop the story event on us. That would be interesting. But if it's saying that it's a dual celebration between Global and JP, unless they're giving JP Part 2, which highly likely, and they're giving us Parts 1 and 2 simultaneously, that might be a thing. Remember, Singapore's already got some of the Asian countries, in fact. I forget all the countries. Some of the Asian countries, Singapore specifically, I can remember off the top of my head, already has the movie. Okay? And this is a global version of the game. So there's a high possibility they could do that. I have said, personally, that Latin America is a huge market for Dragon Ball. And so I think that if I was Akatsuki, and I knew anything about this, my decision would be drop all this on the weekend of the 10th and the 11th. But it really seems like that's not what they're going to do right now. It looks like the game files are currently saying that it's going to be middle of the month. But again, that's all prone to change too. So why would they drop Gogeta Blue, an LLR of Gogeta Blue, before we get any of the events on Global? It just kind of doesn't make sense. Unless they suddenly drop the events, they drop Part 2 of the events on JP. Then I could kind of see it. It does seem like a cash grab, but Global's been doing a lot of cash grabs lately. Hit banner, future Gohan banner, which I really wanted to hit. I'm really sad I didn't get to do as much on it as I wanted. But I've got 1,000 stones save up for these guys. So, again, you got to pick your battles at some point, right? So, where am I really going with this? I don't know. What is going to drop on Global tonight? I have no idea. Unfortunately, I will have friends in town. If I could break away for a few minutes and make the video when it drops, I will. But I can't assure that, so I do apologize in advance if we do have to wait a few hours, like next day or whatever, before that happens. But I'm not convinced this is what's happening. I'm not completely convinced this is what's happening. The best banner in Dokkan history is a strong statement. Because if you remember Gogeta's banner is crazy good. But also, Gogeta's banner has a lot of units on there that I personally have long since had Skittles. So, we'll see, guys. We'll see. What do you think in the comment section down below? I'm not sold that this is what's happening, but I could be wrong. We've gotten wind of a few other things. A big shout out to my man JLX. He's the dude that brings me some of the info that we've dropped on here before that other data miners haven't dropped, and most of that has come to fruition. And again, if it hasn't, it's not his fault. It's completely Akatsuki changing their mind. Remember, even if Team Dokkan turns out, if this turns out to be not the case, it's not that Team Dokkan was wrong. It's that Akatsuki, yeah, it sounds like making excuses, but it's true. It's not necessarily that Team Dokkan would ever be wrong. The data miners only drop the information that's in the game. And he did not say that it was Gogeta Blue. All he said is it's the best celebration in Dokkan history. I'm not sure what that means. I'm really skeptical. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to see something really crazy drop tomorrow. And it is time. We haven't gotten news yet what it is. So really hyped for that. Boo should be coming. The transfer Boo should be coming in about a week's time. I'm going to say leave that banner alone because we know that Gogeta and Broly are on their way this month. We know that. That is, I won't say written in stone, but like 90% certainty that they're happening very shortly. So save your stones, guys. We'll talk about what's happening, when it happens, when we get wind of it. We'll probably be at date change tonight. And then, yeah. Buckle up, guys. It might be interesting. It might be very, very interesting. That is the video, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Oh, Topo's gone. Where did Topo go? Topo, get back here. Get back here, Topo. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Follow my Birdman. Hit me up at Booker. Do that and that. I will lay your asses out next time.